Hi, everyone, and happy Wednesday to you. It's so good to be with you middle of the week. It's meteorologist Matt Wintz here for Region Weather. In terms of these midweek broadcasts, I just feel so much more complete. I hope you do as well, because there's information I want to give you via verbiage during the week, especially with upcoming systems like this weekend, that we just didn't do when we just did a broadcast on Sunday. So this is our new time on Wednesdays. So we've got two broadcasts per week, Sundays and Wednesdays. Same time, 6 p.m. Central Time. So just so you know, this is a new slot for us. Hope you guys are comfortably sitting beyond the hump in the week. We're getting ready for the weekend, and we've got an active pattern coming our way with lots of rainfall, at least in waves. And there's really two systems that we're watching here in the extended forecast. They have the potential to bring us some severe weather here locally. One is this weekend. That's what we'll spend the majority of our time talking about. But we've got another one next week we need to keep our eye on as well. Anytime in the springtime, you get it. We get warm air out ahead of these systems. Dew points come up. We've got shear with storm systems, and we certainly can produce severe weather pretty easily, as we've seen in the last couple weeks. All right, real quick, want to get through our sponsors. This is a bonus broadcast for them on Wednesdays. FBIbuildings.com, the place to go if you need a new pole barn constructed, whether that be residential or commercial. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. FBIbuildings.com. Meals on Wheels, they're looking for volunteers. Guys, if you have any extra time, even a couple hours during the week, perhaps you're retired or you just have a schedule that you're off Mondays, Tuesdays, or a certain day of the week, and you have time to volunteer, you will feel so much better about it when you do. They need people to deliver meals. It's a great organization. You deliver the meals to folks that need it. They smile. They're happy. You get to smile. You're happy as well. You can go home and sleep really well at night. Phone number to call, 219-756-3663. Ask for Melissa. Again, they need some volunteers over at Meals on Wheels. PSA, that's our public service adjusters. What are public service adjusters? Well, they're moms and dads right from here in Northwest Indiana. They're licensed, insured adjusters who will go in when you have an insurance claim, and they'll document everything before your insurance company does. You want to call them first, and they'll document everything. They'll submit it to your insurance company, and they'll be the go-between between all of the insurance stuff that you don't have to deal with when you have a claim, and they'll also get you top dollar in return. Publicserviceadjusting.com. TigerPlumbing.net, place to go for a plumber. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades. Jeff and his team are just amazing. All of you rave when you use them. They come out for free, which is huge. A lot of places now charge $100 to come out. It's ridiculous, and they don't do that. They'll come out for free. You can schedule on mobile if you have any plumbing issues whatsoever. Please choose tigerplumbing.net. Minogue.life. Michael Minogue has been serving Northwest Indiana, the world of Medicare, Medicaid, and life insurance for decades as well. He knows his stuff. If you signed up for a plan on the phone, or maybe you did it online and you weren't quite sure what you got, go to Michael. He'll sit down with you for free, and he'll go over your plan, tell you what you're not using, what you could be using, maybe what you don't have that you need, or what you're paying too much for. He'll do it all for you. He knows the stuff. Minogue.life is the website. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She is our local lender for all your mortgage needs. Spring season is here. Zillow's lighting up like a Christmas tree with houses for sale. If you're interested in those, or you're ready to pounce, maybe coming up next couple months, she'll get all your ducks in a row in terms of getting you pre-approved and ready to go. Check her out on Facebook. You can send her a message on there. Kate Cusack, Home Loan Girl, on Facebook. She did a live shot with us a few weeks ago. She's just an amazing person. So you won't be disappointed, I promise. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. Brand new Jeeps ready to go. May not need the four-wheel drive anymore, but you could use the doors that come off. That's pretty sweet, safely. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, right on US 30 in Valpo. All right, let's say hi to our early birds here tonight. We've got Don from Mayberry. Hi, Don. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube chat. I appreciate that. JK's with us. Mary, hello to you. Hi, Terry. Thanks for taking time out of your evening to join us. Carol's with us. Susan's with us as well on YouTube. Darlene's with us on YouTube. We've got Vincent on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for joining us on our YouTube channel. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Again, I don't care about numbers, but that's just a number that we've been trying to reach for a good portion of the last year and a half. So we'd appreciate that. Kathy, thanks for listening from Lowell. I got you on there. Good evening, Angel. Kim's with us. And Jan says, the Chesterton High School Marching Band had a great weather as they marched at Disney. I know we were talking about that. Oh, I'm so glad they had a good time down there, dodging some of the raindrops with those systems going in. And look who's with us, everybody. It's Kate. Hi, Kate. Everyone say hi to Kate. Kate's joining us here for the forecast to deal with all the hype that's online. So this is what we're looking at. This little yellow shaded box is what we're looking at in terms of all the hype. I don't know if your social feed is full of weather pages now or not. Hopefully it's not. but please don't start looking at them because Facebook algorithm will start putting them in there. That's all I see right now are just junk pages. Some of them are good, some of them are not, but everyone is taking this it was 6 days out forecasts from the National Weather Service of the potential for severe weather, and they were blowing it up. They're making it bright pink and putting it all over the state of Indiana and saying, click here, severe weather threat. Oh my goodness, tornadoes possible. And then you go into it like you do so many things very often, and you see, and they're like, well, things are still really uncertain, and there's just a chance of some storms, but they could be strong. That stuff just drives me nuts, and it's wasting your precious time, and that's what I don't want to do on this program, and I don't want to do with Region Weather, is waste your time. And so we haven't talked about it yet. We talked about it in the broadcast the other day, the potential for severe weather this weekend, but I'm not blowing this up like crazy because there's still a lot of unknowns with this weekend. But what this is, the Storm Prediction Center will typically put their 1, 2, and 3 day outlooks in terms of severe weather. But once you get to the day 4 through 8 range, they tend to highlight if there's a higher than average chance for severe weather across a portion of the country. And that's all this is. It is spring. You can expect this entire area to be lit up every 4 or 5 days with these storm systems. So yes, there are going to be some storms. Some of them are going to be severe. And we do have did I just say potato? Tornado threat. One of my colleagues at another station said tomato instead of tornado the other day. Boy, talk much? Anyway, me, not her. But anyway, you can see that, there's a severe weather threat. All right, so let's dive into the details on this. This system's still well off the west coast. All right, we're starting to see some of the clouds from the initial band of rain coming into California. They've had some heat out towards the western U.S. You can see the thunderstorms blowing up almost monsoon-like in the desert southwest, a pattern that kind of looks late May into June-ish right now. But you can see the system out towards the northwest. There's 2 waves that we're going to watch with us. There's a low pressure that's just off the west coast. There's another little area energy coming through the jet stream here in Washington and Idaho, and that will slide down to the southeast. Both of those will marry, and they'll become a bigger storm system in the plains this weekend. All of it brings us a surge in temps on the front end of things. We'll get some storms around here on Friday, and then we deal with storm chances Saturday and Sunday here locally. But you can see what we're dealing with now. Still a northwest flow. We're still at the base of that trough. We're right in that transition zone between real spring-like warmth down to our southwest and kind of cooler air off towards the north, which we've had over the last couple of days. We did make it into the 50s, though. But we're dealing with clouds and periodic showers until then. So here's a big picture look, and then we'll dive into the details of what we're thinking, how this kind of evolves here. Here's the system off the west coast. Watch how it comes right here. Here's that first area low pressure. Here's the second. Both of them kind of traverse the Rockies. And you can see it forms area of low pressure out towards Nebraska into Kansas. That's familiar, right? Last couple lows have formed there. And then eventually we grab Gulf of Mexico moisture with this first low. And then a second low starts to get involved right here. Both of these combined drag a system through the region Saturday, Sunday, into Monday with colder air on the backside of it, perhaps ending as a little bit of snow before it ends. Again, not a big deal with that, but that heads into April Fool's Day. So it'll feel like a fool because we have colder temperatures on Monday. And then next week, very similar system. This one looks a little stronger to me. This one would bring another severe threat. So you'll see all these junk pages on Facebook and on YouTube, blowing that out of proportion, saying big severe threat. But that one could be a decent threat. So there's that. I just went and draw it bright pink. And then that system goes by, and then another system later next week. We won't get into that right now. All right, in the near term, some shower chances around tonight into tomorrow. They're very slim. We have very dry air in place, but you can see this is that transition zone. There's warm air southwest. There's cold air off towards the north. We're right in between. So we get these zippy little systems with clouds, periodic showers within it as well. So tomorrow, again, there is a shower chance as this thing slides by. A lot of dry air in place, so a lot of that will evaporate before it hits the ground, but some of those showers will make it to the ground at times, all right? So not a steady rain or a huge rain all day, but kind of on and off chances as we go throughout the day tomorrow. And then the warm front tries to get in here. And warm fronts, if you've been with me long enough, we talk about it in terms of how they behave in terms of thunderstorms, especially in the springtime. Warm fronts tend to produce a lot of lightning. You can get a lot of lightning and thunder with warm fronts. Most everything's elevated, so there's not a huge severe weather threat outside of hail and lightning and heavy rain. But we could be looking at that Thursday night, so tomorrow night into Friday, the early half of the day, this warm front's going to try to get through here, and it will. And notice the storms that the NAM nest develops over us. Heavy rain, could have some hail within those as well. Again, tornado threat is virtually non-existent with this one because everything will be elevated. We'll still be kind of stable until that warm air gets here. But what that does is that heads north, is it sets the stage for some really warm air to work in here Friday afternoon, all right? And that sets the stage for this weekend, as you'll see here in a second. The HRRR, not so bullish in terms of the amount of rain with it, but it does bring, you see that warm front through with a line of thunderstorms through the area. I kind of agree with the HRRR a little bit more. I think there's a good push of southwest wind with this. That should keep that line from kind of dawdling over northwest Indiana. I think it'll move through pretty progressively on Friday. But either way, we have storms in the forecast Thursday night into early Friday. All right, the rest of Friday or Friday evening plans are saved. The one thing I want to show you is temperatures, though. This earlier in the week, and if you joined us on the broadcast Sunday, was such a tough call because this warm front was either going to lift north of us by like 10, 20 miles, or it was really going to go north of us. And right now it looks to really go north of us, which is good news. But look at the difference in temperatures that this creates. So this is tomorrow. We still have some clouds, again, some showers from time to time. Temperatures are going to hold in the 50s tomorrow. So not quite there yet. Here's that bubble of warm air down to the south, though. And then watch how this moves in. This is Thursday night. This is Friday morning. This is now Friday midday. The storms will be moving through and they'll be out of here. And the second that they get out of here, we're going to start the warming process with a nice southwest wind. It is like a totally different air mass on the south side of this warm front. So once those storms move through, Friday midday and afternoon, depending on when they finally move out, our temperatures surge. We'll go from the 50s, likely low 50s with the rain around in the morning, maybe even upper 40s. And then once this heads out of here, we should break into some sunshine and temperatures surge into the 70s. And we're going to spend much of our Friday afternoon into Friday evening in the 70s. So if you don't have plans Friday yet to get outside, I mean, could there be a better day to have 70-degree temperatures? I think not. Well, Saturday would be good too. Sunday, not bad. But anyway, Friday, we'll be dealing with that as it moves in. So big warm up on the way Friday afternoon. I don't see storms in the forecast. We'll have a nice cap in place in the atmosphere. So we'll be dealing with warmth. And notice how it stays warm south of that warm front Friday night and Saturday morning. It'll be one of those windows open kind of nights on Friday. So what a transition, right, compared to where we started the week and where we're going to end up. Look at the difference, though, between north and south of this warm front. You draw the line in Wisconsin, you go from, 60 degrees or so in Milwaukee, and then you get off towards the north, and we're talking 30s up towards the north woods, even 20s. It's even more prolific during the day, where we go from, look at Minnesota and Wisconsin, 72 to 47 in a matter of miles. We've been the recipients of both of those air masses before. We've had days where we're freezing cold and it's really warm downstate. These boundaries starting to push off towards the north now. So in terms of those storms, so here's how we're going to kind of plan out your weekend. Friday, we get the storms early. Storms head out of here. We're fine for Friday afternoon and evening plans. Saturday looks pretty good, too, during the day. We'll have to keep a close eye on a wave of storms with that initial low that's going to be coming out of Arkansas. This will head up through the state of Indiana. Right now, all indication is, and again, timing could change by a few hours on this, but I'm thinking that this doesn't move until later in the day, Saturday into Saturday night, all right? And this is kind of what it's going to look like. You can see this wave coming at us from the south. During the day, Saturday, there'll be a lot of noise off towards our north. The radar is going to be lighting up like crazy in Wisconsin and Michigan, where that boundary is. That rain changes to an ice storm just north of that. Just north of that's a snowstorm, all right? So there's a lot of action north of us, but we should settle into this nice capped air where there's not a lot of lift or not a lot of reason for that air to condense. There'll be a nice cap, a nice lid in place with some warmer air aloft. So we should have a mainly dry Saturday as I'm looking right now. And I know your phone app doesn't say that. I know National Weather Service is saying 60% chance of showers throughout the day. I think they have showers likely on there. I think we squeak out a lot of dry hours on Saturday. So Saturday is not a loss at all. And I think we'll be in the 70s once again, upper 60s, low 70s, depending on how it goes. We will have some clouds around, though. And then that wave comes in here late Saturday into Saturday night. Could have some storms with that. I'm not looking at a severe threat with that one. Where I am looking at the potential for severe weather here would be this right here. And I know this is a global model, so it's not quite high res. We don't have the high res models in yet on this. But the way I kind of see this unfolding from experience is that we get that wave Saturday night, and then Sunday morning we should wake up relatively dry as we wait for the cold front to come in from the west. and we would likely heat up again. We get in the 60s, near 70 degrees on Sunday early. The dew points would come up, so we'd finally feel some humidity, and then I would expect storms to develop somewhere around the region. Do they develop over us and head east? Do they develop east of us and we miss out on it, or do they develop just west and move through? Those are the storms I think we have to watch. And again, that's Sunday, all right? Sunday, anytime late morning, midday, into the afternoon hours when that frontal boundary goes by. And that's the time frame that I'll be watching. And I don't think that yellow circle area, like this one right here that everyone's tweeting and talking about, or whatever you call it nowadays, I don't think this plays a role in exactly where the severe weather is going to develop. I think we need to update this. And again, it's early on this. It's way early. But in my mind, it would be anywhere from southern Michigan into Indiana, Illinois, back into Missouri initially, and then it would travel into that area where you'd have big development down south. But we'd have to keep an eye on this area, this dark green area, early on Sunday through the midday and early afternoon hours. All right, that's where I think we would have a chance for some stronger thunderstorms. Couple things that are working for severe weather. We're going to have pretty high dew points with this. This will be the most humid air that we've had so far this season. Our dew points should get up into the 60s. Let me show you that here in a second. Remember, the last couple of systems we've lacked true moisture. Our dew points haven't been high enough, but I think they get there with this one. One of the things is, do we have enough instability with this? Do we clear out, get a little sunshine to be able to heat up? That's kind of the thing that's lacking. We're not talking upper 70s with this one. We're talking 60s to low 70s as it looks right now. But this is dew point, so we are going to feel humid around here on Sunday. Here's the Friday system as it comes in. Notice how our dew points are just really low. We get a little surge of mid 50-degree dew points, which could produce some of those thunderstorms. But in terms of humidity this weekend, it really doesn't arrive until Sunday, right there with that little sliver of humidity and instability that comes in. So again, Sunday would be the time to watch in my mind, and that would include all of Northwest Indiana on Sunday for a threat of severe weather. Damaging winds would be primary risk. Can't rule out a tornado or two with that, depending on how things evolve. This is either going to be what I'm saying in terms of that, or we're going to have clouds and rain around and it's going to go away. All right. So I know that doesn't help much, but that's what I'm looking at. So in terms of answering the question that I initially posed about the hype is there for this huge storm system, but the hype is in the wrong place. All right. They're putting too much energy into it. The things that you're seeing online, it's it's spring and there's severe weather chances across the country. So, and again, it depends on the sources. Some people are very responsible in how they're saying it. So maybe you're looking at those sources, but I'm seeing a lot of garbage out there it's blown up bright pink, says click here, and it has exclamation points all over the place with explosions and monster trucks. Okay, so we don't need that kind of hype around this. But we do have a severe weather threat in my mind, and that would be on Sunday. And then that moves through, and we turn cooler behind that. Look at temperatures. This is the Euro saying we get into the upper 70s on Friday afternoon. We'll go mid 70s. I think we did on our forecast there earlier. And then we stay mild on Saturday. Look at the cold air building into Milwaukee, though. Real cold air coming in with a northeast wind. I mean, there's going to be a real fine line. You get north of Chicago where we go from 75 degrees down into the 40s in a hurry. And look how the lakes play a role. I mean, this is why it's so tricky to forecast across the Great Lakes, because the lakes are cold, and if you didn't have the lakes, you would have a smooth boundary of warm versus cold. But you have these lakes where that cold air expands, and that cold air is over cold water, and so that can tend to build a bigger cold air mass. So you get these real weird wobbles with cold temperatures and pneumonia fronts and stuff like that. But either way, I think we stay mild on Saturday as well. And then Sunday, there you go. Right there would be our severe threat as the system's moving through. Temperature's not too impressive. That's the thing that's kind of lower on this one, with upper 60s versus the upper 70s we had with the tornado threat, a couple weeks ago. So there's that. And then cold air comes in. The one thing I want you to note from the forecast is that late Sunday, I was going to talk about this morning. I saved it for the broadcast, but late Sunday, think about what you're doing this weekend. What are you doing Sunday? Late Sunday, you're probably getting ready for the week. Maybe you're getting ready for spring break. Maybe the kids are on spring break next week. Either way, late Sunday, that temperature is going to crash, all right? We're going to go from 60s, and as soon as those storms move through, that wind is going to shift off the lake, and look how we go from 60s to 40s, likely into the 30s in a hurry. I'm talking a couple hours, and that is a wind shift as we go from southwest wind out ahead of the system to north wind off that cold lake, blowing in some of the cold snowpack air from the UP of Michigan and up in northern Wisconsin. We'll be cold for April Fool's Day. No fooling on that. And then notice we kind of warm up next week once again. I do see another severe threat here sometime Wednesday into Thursday next week. All right. And that's held on the modeling. So I see pretty good signals for a severe threat here locally. All right. So those are the two time frames we're watching. All right. So that's all I have for you in terms of presentation. I hope, again, this is helpful. Please let me know in the chat if there's something you want to see that I don't cover. I would love to take whatever you want to cover, anything you want to know otherwise. If you want more of a national look, I can do that. If you want more, information on drought, or I don't know, whatever it is that we're not covering, if there's something you'd like, again, and I mean it when I say this, this is your broadcast. This is not my broadcast, all right? This information is for you guys. So anything you'd like to see from your local meteorologist, just let me know, all right? All right, let's get to your comments here. Yeah, that's awesome. Susan says, my husband also calls them tomatoes. That's great. Cindy, thanks for joining us. You're not too late. Let's see. Honor Coleman says, last Saturday storms this week and mowed for the first time yesterday. The ski trip was canceled due to the rain this weekend. Oh, Honor, I know you were looking forward to that. You just have to go further north. The UP ought to have some snow. But you mowed for the first time. Has anyone else mowed already? Our grass is still, after all the snow we had at our house over the winter, our grass is like just now waking up. I think it was in shock. Yeah, Maxwell, this is a good debate. What are your thoughts on the lack of weather balloon launches affecting the models? You know, I can't. Here's the problem, Maxwell. Let me kind of bring everyone up to speed on what he's talking about. National Weather Service had a lot of jobs cut, right? And so a lot of weather services, not all of them, but some of the weather services across the country typically launch weather balloons 2 times a day. And a lot of them, due to staffing issues now, only do 1 balloon launch, all right? So technically what that would do is it would keep the 0Z models accurate, and the 12Z model, which is usually what we base off of in the afternoon and evening, would be less accurate. That's the big debate. It's really hard to tell, Maxwell, and here's why. Because it's spring, and spring is a very hard time of the year to forecast because of what you're looking at here. You get temperature differences in the matter of miles that go from 70 to 30, right? And so it's already a tricky forecast to begin with, and the models are never great at handling setups like this. They're good, but exactly where those delineations form, it's always up in the air. And so it's already a tricky time of the year to forecast. I think where we'll be able to feel that is, perhaps with severe weather events. Unfortunately, we may feel the effects of that with some of the special weather balloon launches they get in terms of what the atmosphere is doing. The other thing would be in the summertime when we have kind of tranquil weather. Maybe numbers are off by 5 or 6 degrees every day. We'll see. I don't think it's as overblown as what people are saying. Again, overhype. I'm just an anti-hype person. I tend to think everything's going to be all right all the time, which may get me in trouble at times, but we'll see. Again, my whole argument on that is that it's spring right now, and it's really tough to tell because it's already a very challenging time of the year to forecast. But great question, though. All right, Carmen says, how about Morgantown, Indiana for this weekend? So Carmen, Morgantown's going to have a fairly similar forecast to us here in the region, in that we're going to warm up. It's going to be nice and warm on Friday. Once that warm front goes through with storms early, we'll have a beautiful Friday night. Saturday, we'll have to watch those storms moving in from the southwest. So Morgantown would get at least rain chances as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. And then Sunday, more of the same. We'd watch storms probably in the northwest half of the state, and Illinois kind of work through. So pretty similar forecast. You'll get some dry hours. Driest hours look to be Friday night into early Saturday into midday. And then we'll start to kind of look around that. All right, Craig, great feedback on this. Wind models are always welcome. Yeah, it's been so windy. And my good buddy and old colleague, before he moved to Indianapolis, Matt Standard just posted a great post on the wind, the average wind in Indiana. And it's actually, he calculated it, it's the windiest week of the year right now that we're in typically. And it's just a little bump. It's always windy, but kind of interesting to see that in perspective. So let's look at wind real quick. There's not a ton of wind with this system. It's going to be breezy, but I don't see the wind getting out of control here locally. Here's tomorrow, nice light wind. I mean, we'll have a bit of a breeze, but light compared to where we've been. There's not a big low forming until Friday and the Saturday. And so here you go. This is Friday. We'll get a little gusty once that warm front goes through. All right. So again, storms Friday, Storms move out, different air mass moves in. It'll come in with a gusty southwest wind, and temperatures again surge with that. So this is a warming wind, gusts over 30 possible on Friday. Here's Saturday, not crazy in terms of wind, just breezy. Notice all the wind across the country, though. I mean, this is what happens this time of year when you get changes of air masses. Breezy around here on Sunday, but nothing out of control. And then there you go. As that low ramps up Monday, this is a cold wind, gusts to 30 on Monday, higher as you get out towards the east, but certainly windy as that cold air continues to blow in behind that system. All right, appreciate that, Craig. All right, Mike says, wait, next Wednesday and Thursday, what do we have going on there? These storms need to cool it. It's only March, and we still have May, June, July. Well, we still have April too, Mike. Don't forget April, very active severe weather month potentially. Yeah, so I'm looking at, Mike, we covered it here just a little bit ago. I see a good signal for severe weather next Thursday as well. So there's that. So we've got severe weather chance here on Sunday with storms moving through. Mayfire just east of us, Mayfire on us, Mayfire just west of us. Again, it's not a guarantee. And then we have it all over again next week, another storm system. This one looks to have a better severe potential because it's got more punch to it in my mind. And again, that would be Wednesday into Thursday, sometime in that time frame next week, okay? So heads up on that. Terry, how's the weather Saturday for South Bend? Asks Terry. Terry, pretty similar in South Bend on Saturday as well. I think we dry out in South Bend for a while, then we watch afternoon or evening storms work in right here. So here's South Bend Saturday. There's going to be a lot of action to the north. We're dry here, and then that rain and storm action moves in from the southwest sometime late Saturday into Sunday. So it should be okay. Maxwell, yeah, no problem. Rich, thanks for the update. Cringe. 273 days till Christmas, he says, as we're all waiting to warm up. That's great. Okay, so Susan says, have not mowed, but my lawn care started weed treatments. Yeah, it's about time for that for sure. But yeah, it's, we're getting into lawn mowing season around here, and allergies are going to be soon to follow. All right, so that's all we got tonight. Again, hope you found this helpful. Thanks for joining us on Wednesdays. I know it's middle of the week. You got a lot of stuff going on, so again, I don't want to ever waste your time on that. All right, we're on the radio side of things, 103.9, X-Rock, Indiana 105.5, and Z107.1 every single day. Also, as we've noted before, regionweather.com. You can sign up for daily emails. I'll be honest, it's not even every day, but we get them to you in the morning, a personalized forecast for Northwest Indiana. So there's that. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. All right, and we'll talk to you over the weekend. We'll talk to you over the next couple of days about this event coming up this weekend. Thanks, guys.